Hello everyone, welcome to the bus tour of Minion, the 4-window school bus that we just completed here at my shop, Dream Reality Studios LLC. It's a really cool bus. We're excited to show you this thing, and let's get into it, starting with the exterior right now. One of the first things that you are going to notice, it is not school bus yellow anymore. So the body was prepped and painted. We sprayed the bus with an oil-based paint. Makes it easy to touch up if you're ever scratching it out on those old forest roads. And it is sprayed, not rolled, so you're not gonna have any roller marks. It looks great. Also, the roof has been coated and resealed with a Henry's Tropical roof paint, and all of the seams were recocked before we put the paint on there. So kind of nice. I should also touch on all of the body lines and windows were recocked as well. One of the huge benefits of having a school bus on like a van or truck chassis versus a commercial chassis is you can get like normal tires. These are BF Goodrich KO2s. These things are amazing. I've probably owned, I don't know, maybe 6 of these 7.3 little short buses. I put these tires on them and they do amazing in the snow. My dad has an all-wheel drive car, and I remember we went snowboarding together, and my bus had better traction than his all-wheel drive car because of the weight combined with the tires. So, huge bonus having these tires. Also, another bonus of having a van or van chassis bus is you can get work done at any normal power stroke truck shop. You don't have to go to a commercial shop. You can get alignments done at normal tire shops. Kind of an awesome big deal. So let's keep shooting around the exterior. We're gonna talk about this whole side of the bus. There's not much going on, but we have a 15-gallon gray tank down there that we hung with thread and aluminum, so you don't have to worry about anything shifting or like wood rotting away. It's gonna last pretty much forever. And then we have it's about a 15-gallon gray tank, and there's a 30-gallon fresh tank inside. And we have a 12-volt remote drop valve for your gray water. You can also hook a hose. It's threaded on the tip of that if you wanted to like run your line into gray water stuff. And then over here you're gonna see the water fill, and that I've done a lot of the water tank systems where you got to take the water tanks out, go fill them, and then bring them inside. There's pros and cons to all of it, but I really think that having like an outside water fill is like super nice, because then you can just fill the water with a hose. You could also put a funnel in it and dump gallons of water in if you're in a pinch. It makes it a lot easier than trying to like, you know, do some funkiness to fill your water tanks. So, super nice. And you can also see that we did upgrade, I forgot to mention it on the front too, that the front headlights were upgraded to LEDs. The side lights, marker lights, turn signal lights were upgraded to LEDs. And then all of the back lights were upgraded to LEDs, which we'll show you here next. Welcome to the rear of the bus. Again, here are all of those upgraded LED lights. They're just way brighter than the old halogens, way more efficient. It's a habit we got into a while back. It's nice having the upgrade to LEDs. Also on the back of the bus, you're gonna see that the flashers, and on the front, were deleted, and we use skoolie.com flasher deletes to replace the flashers. And the reason we do that is the flashers are one of the most common points for an old school bus to leak. So you just completely eliminate that leak point, and I think it looks a little cooler too. And if you want to check out skoolie.com, we have a discount code for them as well, and that will be below. Also, we have a skoolie.com lock tab for the back door. They only make these for Bluebirds right now. This is a Bluebird bus. So we got a little lock tab, and then you just put a little padlock in there. Boom. We're gonna go underneath of the bus and show you kind of the garage area. So I'm gonna show you around down here. So over here, we have our 30-gallon freshwater tank that gravity fills. You can see the lines over there. We did put a little light underneath here so that, you know, at night you can see your storage and stuff in here. We have our Rec Pro toilet that when you open that door, you have access to, and then you could store it away. And then over here is our electrical system. So we have a Dakota Lithium 200 amp hour battery. We have our 50 amp DC to DC charger and MPPT charge controller. So that thing will charge from solar on the roof, which we have 200 watt solar panel up there. It'll charge as soon as the vehicle is turned on. And then we also have a shore power charger from Dakota Lithium right there that is attached to the other side. You can just put a 110 extension cord in there, charge your stuff. You can completely disconnect the battery here if you need to do any work, and you can completely disconnect your 12 volt accessories here if you need to for any reason. And then over there, we've got a 2000 watt Renogy inverter on a remote for all your 110 outlets inside the bus. Pretty simple setup, but works great. I put this in all of the short buses that we build here. Welcome to this side of the bus. Here is our 110 outlet for charging, for short power charging if you got access to an extension cord. And you got another LED turn signal right there. And then right here is our flush mount muffler for our diesel heater. So usually the diesel heaters come with this little muffler that sits underneath of the rig. I don't know, I discovered these little flush mount things a while back and they look really great. So they're made for boats. I started installing them, I think, on the last bus that I did. I'll have a link in the description for everything you see in this bus if you wanted to grab any of this stuff. And one of the cool things about this diesel heater compared to others is we did tap the tank. So for some reason, this bus actually had an auxiliary fuel port already on the fuel tank. So we just hooked the diesel heater right up to that, so you'll never have to fill an auxiliary tank for your heater. Super nice. I think we're getting ready to go inside. Welcome to the inside of the bus, kind of. One of the first things I want to talk about is the school bus door. I have converted these and I have kept these multiple times for different reasons. We decided to keep the school bus door on this one just because we like that old school bus feel. That's why we build them. And these buses also have a regular like car door on that side, so you can use that. So we decided to keep the school bus door in a nutshell. Also, down here you're gonna see that we put a fresh coat of paint on the, what do we call this? The stairwell, just to make it brand new, you know, so it's a brand new house. And then we just put some of this outdoor carpet stuff down just to give it a little bit more of a homey feel. Now let's go inside and get into the nitty-gritty. This is the cockpit of the bus. We really didn't do much here because we like the school bus aesthetic. That's why we build school buses. We could build vans if we wanted to build vans. So we see a lot of people that build old school buses trying to make them not look like school buses, which doesn't make sense to us because, you know, you could build other things that are 10 times easier. So we like to keep some of the old school bus features. Like, that's the point for us, right? So we really didn't do much here. One of the things that you are going to notice is, so we did completely, I guess we'll talk about this right now, is we did completely gut this bus. We prepped all the metal, we re-insulated the whole thing, and then we put back wood and insulation. Now in the floor we have 1-inch pink foam board with OSB over that, and then vinyl life-proof flooring over that was caulked and sealed in to make it as waterproof as it could be. And then in the walls we have Havelock wool, and then we have shiplap pine, 3/4 inch, really good thick wood in the ceiling and in the back cap. And then up here we have a piece of 1/2 inch birch plywood, Havelock wool behind it, and then we notched out this little cubby hole here just to give ourselves a little bit of extra storage space. Right now we just have the blackout curtain that snaps up when you're looking for some privacy in there, but you could throw some other stuff in there. So completely re-insulated, completely gone through, everything's been rust treated. It's a brand new house. Let's go that way. This next section is a little bit tight, so I'm gonna hold the camera and kind of talk you through it. Now, right here is kind of a little divider wall behind the driver's seat, right before it goes into the kitchen. And we just have a little closet dowel right here, so you can hang some coats, things like that. Having that little bit of hanging storage really goes a long way. And then down here we have the propane tank. It's really small and you can just turn it on and off, and you know, it's fine in our opinion. as we come into the kitchen, you're gonna notice that we have this really cool little white countertop, and we have completely custom cabinetry. This is all made out of 3/4 inch pre-finished maple. I think building custom cabinets in a van or a bus, to me personally, is kind of mandatory, because there's wheel wells and all kinds of things that you kind of have to build around, and I think it's just the best way that you can maximize the space that you have, right? So we do have this RecPro 2-burner stove in here. Now RecPro is a sponsor of this build, so you're going to notice the RecPro stove and the RecPro toilet and discount code below if you decide to go with their stuff. I use their stuff in every single build. So this little 2-burner inset is rad, and it's the only thing hooked up to propane in this whole bus. So that tiny little propane tank over there hooked up to this would last you a long time, and there's nothing else propane in the rig. Now over here you're going to see we have the light switch to 2 LED track lights in the ceiling, which are very bright at night, and I've started using these lights a long time ago, and I can't use anything else. They're so good. And then you're going to see a stack of drawers here. Now, one of the things you're always going to see in camper vans and buses too is people using all kind of contraptions to keep these from not coming out while they drive, right? But we've already fixed that for you. We have RV Labs locking drawer pulls. So as soon as you push this shut, boom, it's locked in place. It's not going anywhere when you drive. When you pull it, it releases. Kind of a hack, because you're always going to forget to lock your drawer. It's going to be nice to never have to worry about it. And you got a good amount of drawers there with a really nice deep one on the bottom for pots and pans and things like that. As we come over here, we have a cutting board in the sink, and we have a nice stainless steel sink, and this is a foot pump water system. As you can see, we have a foot pump there. The reason I like foot pump water systems in some of these smaller rigs is they are way more efficient. We have a 30-gallon freshwater tank in the back, so we don't want to blow through that, right? So to give you an example, my first bus had a foot pump water pump like this, right? I only had a 21-gallon water tank, and it would last me about a week doing dishes and just doing regular things, which is pretty crazy, right? I have a 100-gallon water tank in my big bus with a 12-volt water pump, the works, water heater. I'm burning through 100 gallons of water in a week versus 21. So kind of a big deal. So these little pumps are a hack if you have smaller water systems. Just keep that in mind. We're gonna handheld this in the next section. So you're gonna see this little like pedestal thing here. The reason this is all raised up is the wheel well is down there. So we had to build this up on the wheel well. And this is a 12-volt fridge from RecPro. Now up here you're gonna see we have a 110 outlet. Then we've got 12-volt outlets, and we also have, you know, overhead storage in the kitchen, which we like having because I like being able to see my groceries. When I've had closed cabinets before, I'll have some Doritos chips in there. Don't think I have them, go buy them again. So if I can just see, I've got a bag of coffee there, I know I have coffee. This is a preference thing. We do this in all the kitchens and the stuff we build. But let's head back down here to the 12-volt stand-up fridge. I've done the chest stuff before, and it's all fine and dandy, but we did a stand-up in our last bus, and it was such a game changer. We kind of loved it. It's got a little bit of freezer space, so you can put ice cream, things like that in there. And then down here, to kind of utilize this weird space, we just made this little pocket here, so you can at least try and stuff something in there, and you're not completely losing that space to the wheel well. All right, here is the bed area. We're gonna start by saying that we have this door right here to get to your garage space underneath if you need to get to that toilet or dig anything out from under there. We typically like keeping our dirty clothes basket under there, keeps it out of the living space. But let's talk about the bed. We have a 3/4 size bed. What that means is it's a little bit smaller than a full, which is very typical in these school bus conversions. The reason we did this is because we wanted to preserve as much living space as we could pushing forward, because you're not just sleeping in here, you're living in here as well. So the difference is a full-size bed is 54 by 75. This is a 48 by 75, which is only about 4 inches skinnier, but that 4 inches turns into a lot going that way. You know, 4 inches shorter on that closet dowel would make it almost unusable. So that 4 inches goes a long way going into the living space. And I've slept in a bed this size with my partner, and it's tight, but it works, right? So, you know, you got to give and take a little bit when you're living in a vehicle. So 48 by 75, 3/4 inch bed, brand new. All the bedding, brand new. Pendleton blanket, everything. This is a brand new build. Now, also I want to talk about the bus's size. This is a very rare school bus, right? It was an activity bus for high schoolers. What that means is it's a little bit taller than normal, and I'll have the dimensions in the video description, exactly what it is. It's a little bit taller than a normal bus, which is great, right? One of the other things is it's not as wide. Most buses are 8 feet wide, and this is about 7.5. So to give you guys an example, this is about the exact same size as a ProMaster 140 wheelbase van, which people use all the time as work vans. You know, it drives like a minivan, parks like a minivan. This is one of those ones you don't really ever have to worry about driving anywhere, which is kind of nice. But that being said, since it isn't typically as wide, we usually build a chest at the head of the bed for clothes storage, but we just don't have that extra space to do that. So we did overhead cabinets on both sides of the bed for your clothes storage. Now, so I'll open these up, and these are on struts. So the way we think this works is if you're living in here with 2 people, one person could have this side and the other person could have this side. If you were living in here by yourself, I mean, you've got both of these cabinets for clothes storage or whatever you decide to do, and you got that little bit of hanging storage up front, which is nice for a couple coats. And they're on struts, magnets, 3/4 inch. Everything in here is built with 3/4 inch pre-finished maple. Now, above my head, you're going to see we have a Max Air Deluxe fan, which is great for air circulation and cooking and whatever, right? And then over here, you're going to see that we have a 360 fan. These things are amazing for cooling a little space like this. I can't speak highly enough about these. I have like 5 of these in my own personal bus. At night, when it's a hot summer night, point that thing at you, you're doing great. Open all these windows, put this thing on high. You're doing pretty great, honestly. And you are going to see the curtains. So these are all on stainless steel curtain rods, and this will just pull across the back, and then the sides will just pull up the sides of the windows. And we do have curtains for the door, so you can completely black out the rig with your curtains. Let's go that way. Welcome to the couch / guest bed, I guess we would call it. These cushions were 3-inch foam, and then they were Jaylina custom upholstered them, so they're not stapled to wood or anything like that. You can unzip them, wash them. They're great. We got a couple little throw pillows here. It's long enough for somebody to sleep on, and there's a ton of storage inside, which I'll show you here in a bit. But over here we have kind of our electric cabinet situation. This is the controller for the diesel heater. This is the monitor for the DC to DC. We have our 110 switch right here, which is another 110 outlet here, and another one at the end of the couch. And then we've got more 12-volt USBs. You honestly can't have enough 12-volt USBs. And then you're going to also see this sweet little Lagoon mount desk situation, which is great for working on your computer, having a meal, and if you want it out of your way, you can just pop it right out and bam. Now, one of the reasons that I like doing this type of couch bed system in a bus is so that I can create the storage. So if you look underneath here, you have a ton of storage, right? Let me grab the camera and show you. So here is that electrical situation. And if you look inside of here, you see you've got the diesel heater here. You've got, I probably wouldn't put too much stuff around here, but you could if you want. Then you've got this whole giant trunk area for sticking all kinds of stuff. The sliding beds that people do here, they just don't give you this storage. In a small rig like this storage is key, in my opinion, and like that's a lot. So you just drop this all back down and boom. I think that about wraps up this tour of this little 4-window school bus, to be honest. The only thing we didn't really talk about was this tiny little overhead shelf. And it's just a little skinnier on the side of the couch because I don't want anybody hitting their head, getting up and down over here. And yeah, I mean, it's a cool little rig. So I do want to touch on a couple things. This is the Minion bus, right? This was my personal bus for years. I've owned this bus for years. This is my original intention, was to build this bus for me. A few reasons why. This is a very, very, very rare short bus that's so easy to drive. It's crazy, right? And then it's taller. I love the size. It's easy to park. It has the 7.3 Power Stroke motor, which I've owned a ton of these buses, and they've always been super great, reliable motors. Also, this bus had a transmission put in by the Ford dealership from the school district right before they released it to the public. So, brand new transmit. I mean, everything about this bus. This is why I was going to keep it. I was going to make it 4-wheel drive and make it the coolest little 4-window in the game, was the plan. But we got pregnant, which if any of you follow my YouTube channel know that, and like this was just going to be too small for our family, which is why we built a bigger bus, which we have and live in now. I've had a school bus conversion shop, if this is your first time ever seeing this channel, for years. So one of the benefits of buying this bus or any bus from us is you're not just buying somebody's first build they built in their backyard. This was professionally built at a shop with the experience of people that actually live in school buses, not just build them for money. Like, we actually live in school buses, and we've lived in them for years. We've built a lot of buses. You can scroll through my channel and go look at every single one that we've ever built here. So you're looking at the experience of materials that we recommend in conversions, stuff that we use all the time because we trust it. So it's like, a bus from us, you get a lot. You get the experience of somebody who's actually lived bus life. You get the experience of somebody who's built multiple buses and the materials to use and not use, right? It's kind of a big deal. So I wanted to touch on that. The other thing is, you know, this was supposed to be my personal bus. So it's like mechanically, probably one of the most mechanically reliable buses on the road today, period. This bus was maintained by a 7.3 Power Stroke specialist. This bus has been at my shop for years. It's built all the buses I've ever built at my shop. I've never had any problems. My girlfriend, Jaylena, drove this thing all the way to Texas and back with no problems. So mechanical stuff you're not gonna have to worry about. Now, knock on wood, you know, it is a machine. I can't guarantee it, but like if I was gonna risk on any of them, I'd buy this one. I would keep this bus if I didn't have a family. It's just too small for my needs. I built a bigger bus. If it was just me, this thing is amazing. If it was just me and my girlfriend, this thing is amazing. But me with a child and 2 cats, it's just too small. So this is a great bus. Thank you guys for watching this tour. I touched on everything, I think, but if anybody has any further questions about the bus, please don't hesitate to reach out. Right now, the bus has 180,000 miles on it, which is super low for a 7.3 diesel motor. These are known to go to 300, 500,000, and they're even known to go to 1,000,000 miles. So this thing has a lot of life left, and you can't even find these buses with less than 200,000 miles anymore. So yeah, my name is Isaac. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to hop in the comment section and ask. The listing will also be available. All the stuff we use in here will be available. There'll be discount codes for some of the products we use in here. Rec Pro was a huge sponsor of this build. Dakota Lithium. This might be one of the last school buses that we build from this shop because we are losing this shop. So who knows what we're going to get into next. I appreciate you guys spending your time and watching this tour. This is Isaac signing out, and we'll see you in another video. If you're not already subscribed, consider subscribing because we do cool stuff here. If you've been a long time subscriber, I'm stoked to show you this build. Peace out.